I'm not awesome with analogies, but I really like them. I like how they convey ideas, and I like how they can be used to correlate and relate to certain topics. Um, and an amazing analogy I heard recently was that faith was a lot like walking through a cave. So if you're in a cave, it's probably going to be pretty dark because there's no sun coming in, unless if you're at like the entrance of a cave, or there's lights. So in this, for instance, in this example, you're walking through a cave. There is no light. You're like teleported into like, however, I don't know how far back into a cave. And you're stumbling. You're falling on things that you can't really know what are. You just can assume they're kind of like obstacles, And you're stumbling. You're falling over. You're tripping. You're getting shaky, and it's tough at times because it's very frustrating to be stumbling and not even be fully aware of what you just know that you're falling. Faith is a lot like that. Not saying that trusting in God is that way. I'm saying faith. So your eyes adapt to darkness after a certain period of time. So if you're in a movie theater for however long and you come out and it's like a 1 p.m. sunlight blasting your eyes, you're probably gonna be a little desensitized, and it's just harder to like see. So I'd say a lot of the same stuff can be put into that kind of analogy. It's hard to see in dark. It's hard to see in faith because you're not used to it. Your eyes aren't really, your mind isn't really used to it yet. So you kind of start to get an idea of what's going on around you. You're not, obviously you still don't know, but you have a better idea. You're starting to see kind of shapes, silhouettes of things. Obviously you can't tell most details, but because it's still very, very dark, but I mean you can tell, you can kind of use context clues in that sense. Now that's kind of what walking through life is. You're falling and you're stumbling. You're not really sure what's going on. There's obstacles all around you that you keep tripping on and falling over onto or off of, and it just feels like everything's kind of, was meant to go away, and it didn't really happen. God is kind of like a flashlight. I know that sounds kind of corny, but, give me a second and hear me out. You aren't really aware of what you're stumbling on. So, for instance, if I were going through a relationship issue, I'm probably not aware of what the issue could be. I could point and blame and say that thing is the problem, but I don't really know what's causing it. Because I only understand the effect, The cause isn't what's causing me the problem, it's the effect of the cause, which is, harming me so. So I'd say it's a lot like that. You're feeling something, and that's what you can kind of point and blame to. A relationship with God kind of turns things around. It might not happen immediately, but, you start to see more of the cause side of things. So, for instance, say this guy's wife hates him, and then you kind of can see why. So, for instance, if you're the guy, you might not be aware of why at all. You're just, my wife hates me. She tells me these things, but it can't be that. I don't know what's going on. Then God comes in and he gives you these moral principles and all of these great ethical teachings, and then you look at it in kind of a different perspective. It's a lot of it's this perspective thing. You say, oh, maybe it's the way I interact with her in the mornings, my attitude, or ways I show myself to her that kind of puts me in a bad light, or I don't know. It's a weird analogy for that instance, but I'm just trying to grab a hold of anything. It's the first thing that came off of my mind. So it's a lot like that. God being the flashlight, he's pointing it around and he's turning it on you and saying, hey, what's the deal over here? So I don't know. I think that's a really important thing because it's so easy and effortless to point and blame everything else or even people. For instance, if you're dealing with a social problem, it's very easy to say, you wronged me, you've done this to me, and I can, even if you're following God, even if you're walking with God, it can be very difficult. But it does take no discipline whatsoever in a man nor woman to point, blame, or get angry at something. But it takes a lot of humbleness and generosity, and just humbleness is really where you want to be at, to point it at yourself and kind of see the problems that lie. It's hard to keep that. You can say that as much as you want, you can say that you do that as much as you want, but the truth is, no one does. No one can hold that 100% of the time. I know I can't, and I know that plenty of people that I look up to can't, and you know what? That's just the way it is. I was born a sinner, but I was made anew through Christ, and it doesn't mean that I'm never going to sin again, but it does mean that I can work through it, and I can, be better. I hope that something from that I just said relates to you or speaks to you in some way, because that was as like honest and down to earth as I think I can get right there. Moving on, seasons. So I don't know where you are, right now. You could be, and you could be walking with Christ. You could be thinking about it, or you could be not interested in it at all. And if you're not interested, that's a bummer. Surprised you're in this part of the video, but that's a bummer. Not to say that it's affecting me negatively. I mean, I'm I say it's a bummer because that's sad to hear. I hope that that just tells me that you're in a weird place in your life, and I'm sorry to hear that, because it's never, everybody's going through something, and some people way worse than others, and it's just going through stuff is never awesome. So I'm sorry to hear that. What I would say to you is to do your own research. Don't just lean on your own understanding of things as they are. Seek knowledge and it shall come to you, is what I would say. Now, to someone who's just starting to look at God and be like, maybe that's, maybe God's speaking to me, maybe something's going on, I'd tell you that seasons are, I almost forgot I was talking about seasons. So about seasons, what I would tell you, seasons are when you're going through different things through Christ. So for instance, when I just started, it was a lot of just me understanding God was real, and evidence kind of pointing towards me and understanding that. I got past that at a certain point. I was like, okay, there's no doubt in my mind that's the truth. Now what? And then I went to a further point. I started seeing how it could apply, these moral and ethical teachings of Jesus Christ could apply to my life. So, for instance, I'd hope to say that I'm a lot nicer of a person. I think I used to be a very hateful and despiteful and cruel being, and whether that was shown to people around me or not, I think it's the truth. I think that I can truly say that absolutely I was that kind of person, and it's saddening to kind of look at, but I mean, just being completely honest and 100% generosity, I think that's absolutely where I was. But you start seeing things differently. You're in a different perspective of everything, and it's all kind of piecing together weirdly again, I stopped being so angry. I started seeing the value in forgiveness and acceptance of these things. And I can absolutely say that without them, I would be terrible. I would be absolutely awful. And I kind of see glimpses of it even now. And, you know, I don't know if it'll ever go away, but best I can do is try my best to be better. I think that's the most you can ask of anybody. And you can say that you're doing the best, and maybe you're not. Maybe you're being very lazy. Maybe you're in a weird place. You're confused and you don't even know how you can do your best. You don't know where to start. And you know, that's a tough spot to be, but you work past that. After a certain point, you find your way anyway, because that's what God designed you to do. He didn't design you to get stumped. Now, it doesn't mean you're not stumped at a point, but you get past it. You overcome, you achieve, and that's all I can really hope for anything, really. Specifically, my relationship with God, because I'm, as much as I do hate to say it, I think I'm a very stubborn person at times, and I think that's horrible. I think that's horrible for me. So I'm moving past those things. Now that I've moved past that kind of applying things socially to my life, now I'm not done with that. You know, I'm still learning things and kind of applying that, but I think the overhaul of everything, for the most part, is complete. The big wave of it is kind of, you know, surpassed. And now I'm kind of more of a place of understanding what drives me to do things. And each and every one of these seasons have come out from humbleness. Humbleness never feels good. It sucks. It sucks a lot. And, you know, you get through it. You have to just push through it. It really, really sucks. And even though you say, oh, it was only for a day or two, man, that day or two blowed big time. It stunk, and I did not feel good for that entire time. It felt awful. It felt like it felt overwhelming and horrible, and like I was past the point of even understanding how much I had gone through. I was just maxed out at the limit. And as much as that does blow, it brings you to way better places, man. I'm telling you. So I was humbled in my knowledge of God. I thought I knew a lot. Now, I knew I didn't know everything, but I thought I knew a dang old lot. Man, was I wrong. I know nothing, dude. I know absolutely diddly squat. And, man, it's like the one thing I thought I knew. Nope, absolutely not. I know, like, the tip of the iceberg, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. Dude, I talked to, man, I can't even remember what his name was. He was some Australian guy. He was pulling stuff from freaking everywhere. He was bringing up translations of the Bible and all kinds of these different things. I was dumbfounded. I was like, dang, I don't measure up at all of that. And, I mean, I don't need to have all this insane knowledge of it per se, but all that wisdom is impeccably admirable and something I want to eventually reach. Yeah, it was like a lot. So, you know, I was humbled. And for a couple days there, I felt terrible. I was like, dang, the glass is shattered. My life's sitting on the floor, and I don't know what to do now. I'm back at, like, square one almost, you know? The, like, evidence phase of my life of, like, prove to me. I was like, oh my goodness, dude. And through humbleness, I sought God, and through God, I got through it. And now I'm at a different season of my life. And it's like learning to turn for the first time. Except you have to relearn it every single time. Now that doesn't seem hard, because you've done it a million times. But imagine, like, a baby figuring out to do that, you know? That must be pretty confusing and maybe not difficult, but weird, strange, hard to do to begin with. Once you do it, it's easy. Once you've seen how you've done it, it's easy. But then you have to relearn it. It's a different way every time. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And I can't say I'm super excited for that feeling again, but I know I have to go through it a million times because that's how I become better. And you know what? Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not ready now, but I'm sure God will have it happen to me when I am. And even if I don't think I am, it'll work out just the way it's supposed to. So you know what? I'm excited for that. Now, one of the ways I was humbled, that was even today. I was sitting and looking at my phone, and I saw a person ask a question about God, and I was thinking about how I'd talk to someone about it. And I was like, man, these Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff, they don't even believe in Jesus. And I was like, I don't know. It's God. You can still seek God and still do all right. I was wrong. I was wrong because I forgot this. I forgot about the importance of Jesus Christ's involvement with God, and I was kind of like, I don't know, something snapped when I was when God brought it to my realization. In John 14, verse 6, it reads, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Completely contradicts what I was thinking earlier. No, you can go to God and still, no, it's got to be, it's not to say that you can't love God and Jesus. It's not what I'm saying there, but I'm saying Jesus is number one always, man. Dang, oh my goodness. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, anyway, that's about all I have to talk about, but I just wanted to get that out there. I know I haven't posted in a while, and I don't think I'm going to be doing posts nearly as often as I was. But I don't know. We'll see. Stuff will happen however it happens, I don't think I'll go like a month without posting, but we'll see. I'm not going to force anything to happen if I don't think it's of any quality or actual knowledge. So I'm not going to be spouting just words I've heard over and over again and kind of just regurgitate to them to you. So anyway, that's the plan. But God will have things work out whatever way they work out. So I'm not going to set a time limit or a plan on really anything. I'm just, I have an idea of what I want to aim for, and then if God wants me to do something else, and that's what we're going to do. So anyway, if you're seeking Christ or want to seek Christ or in any way, shape, or form have a question or thought surrounding God or anything like that, the Bible, whatever, please contact me and then find somebody else because I thought I knew it all, man, and now I'm completely aware I'm stupid. I'm pretty ignorant, but I hope that I have more knowledge to provide than I don't have, so anyway, hear it from me and then question it and go and learn about it. Don't take my word for it, because I'm just another dude like you. Man is not God. Flesh is made by flesh. Spirit cannot be made by flesh. Therefore, thus, I'm silly. I'm stupid, and I don't know. I'm learning. I'm at that point. I'm learning. Okay, bear with me, please. Okay. Anyway, all right. Again with the questions. Anything. Please. It's the one thing I like to talk about. Please contact me. Go through. I have an email link to my YouTube. I would love to talk to you through YouTube comments if you'd prefer that. It's not nearly as private, but I mean, I'm totally up for whatever. Or, you know, whatever you can think of contacting me. You can contact me about contacting me a separate way, and I'll do whatever. I don't care. Please do ask questions. Maybe don't even do it to me. Find somebody else. Like, there's this guy, I think it's god.net. I think that's the YouTube guy, and I don't know if you can actually contact him, but I know he talks to people all the time. So much more intelligent than me, man. I love this guy. He rocks. So, you know, if I'm not saying it right, find somebody else. And maybe none of them will say it right, but I'm telling you, it's God, man. It's all God. Nothing flesh was ever important or intelligent at all before, you know, dude upstairs. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. Hope that if you're dealing with anything, as I always say, you know, financial, relationship wise, physically, whatever it is, I hope you're doing okay. You know, I hope that through it brings you closer to God, and that you know, I hope that things turn out all right for you, whatever it is, you know. And I want you to know that the world is separated from God. Not to say that God doesn't talk to us, but I'm saying, like, bad things happen not because of God, but because of sin, because God has separated the world and given us free will. He's limited his power and humbled himself to give us the chance to do whatever we want. And yeah, I would say don't take it for granted, but I mean, you know, free will. Take it for granted all you want. It's your choice, you know. And again, yeah, I hope you're doing well. So I'm gonna end it here before I start ranting about some other thing that comes up in my brain and I haven't thought about it all. So yeah, have a good day.